From the station that made country music famous, 650 AM WSM, this is a Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Hey, it's Charlie Matos, and in this episode, we sit down with the great singer-songwriter Gillian Welch. Gillian's been busy in 2020, releasing several volumes of the lost songs, digging back into the archives to find great unreleased material. Eric Markham and I would chat with Gillian about the new album, about owning a studio, and life in Boston during her college days. Enjoy our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast with Gillian Welch.
This is WSM's Coffee, Country, and Cody.
And a pleasure to welcome Gillian Welch to 650 AM WSM and Coffee, Country, and Cody. Billy Boy with this Tuesday morning off, Charlie and Eric. And, well, some folks don't know really what to do during 2020 because it's been such an interesting time. It's like, do I put stuff out? Do I not put stuff out? Do I try and record? Do I just do live streams? Gillian Welch, you have been productive. You have dug into the archives, and my goodness, for fans of your music, what a wealth of music you have provided to us in 2020. Good morning.
Well, thank you, and good morning, everybody. It's been a crazy year for everybody, and I never expected that dealing with everything that we've all been dealing with this year, that David and I would have put out 4 records in a year. It's unheard of in our world. There's been a kind of perspective shift for us that started with the tornado because our studio got hit by the tornado, and we managed to rescue all of our master tapes and our guitars and microphones and everything, and that sort of got us thinking, why have we been saving these tapes for all this time? When you save something, you start to wonder, what am I saving this for? Mm-hmm. And that was really the beginning of releasing this 48-song chunk of unreleased material. Oh, and that's kind of how it started.
Yeah, well, the third and final volume is out now, Boots Number 2, The Lost Songs, and they will all be available in one big collection. I love the fact that you're doing vinyl on this, and it looks like a wonderful presentation of the box set, by the way, for folks who want to splurge and get. I'm a vinyl guy, so I always go see if there's going to be a vinyl, and it looks like a beautiful box set. Yeah.
I'm a vinyl person too, and that was really the first way music started to change my life, was dropping the needle on an LP. Yep. And somehow you never really get away from that. I remember I had that conversation once with Robert Plant. We were talking about LPs changing our lives, and we weren't sure that a CD could change your life in the same way. But anyway, yeah, we will be putting out a vinyl box set and a CD box set. I still listen to CDs in the car. And not only that, we did something we never done before. We made a book to go with the complete 48-song box set. And it's complete lyrics for all the songs and guitar chords and a bunch of photographs. And that's kind of how I've been spending my time. By the way, we made a book.
Well, I know you're a big Dylan fan, and certainly growing up, how influential his music was to you. And please take this as a compliment, because I mean it. But this whole project kind of reminds me a little bit of what Bob has done over the last 15 years or so with the Bootleg series, going back and finding outtakes and demos and versions of songs that were complete but just never found a home on a record. And if you're a fan, it's just wonderful getting to hear that. It's such a snapshot into people's lives.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I look to Bob Dylan in so many things as a signpost, or he's just an extraordinary artist, and I'm so glad that he's around. And we definitely kind of consulted his bootleg series a bit as far as what can you do. But this project was really it was motivated by stranger things than that. You know, it literally these tapes almost just kind of sat on a shelf for nearly 20 years, kind of
wow.
lost and forgotten, because we had written these songs and done these demos to fulfill my publishing contract here in town. When I first started, I wasn't a recording artist. The first thing I got was a writing deal. I was a songwriter. And but that contract had kind of run its course, because I had found out fairly quickly that once I started touring, I don't really write on the road. And so the days of me having a publishing deal like that, they should finish, but I owed them a bunch of songs. So that was really the impetus for all of these tunes were written right at the end of 2002 to fulfill that publishing contract. So they are kind of a standalone group of songs, which is one of the reasons it's been nice to kind of keep them together. We split them into volumes and have been releasing them throughout the year, mostly because we just wanted to get the music out as fast as we could. And the fastest way to do that in this day and age is not to worry about vinyl, not to worry about the CD, but simply get the music out there into the ether, you know. But we will be making what they call the physical product and what I call the real thing. Come December, it'll be out.
Hey, Gillian, this is Eric Markham here. It was in the late 90s that Woodland Studios survived the tornado of what was it, 98?
Oh, you are so right.
And now we hear 20 years later.
Our fate is so bound up with tornadoes and that studio, because the whole reason that my partner David Rawlings and I own that studio is because it got hit by that 98 tornado. And that precipitated a bit of a kind of owner-renter dispute between the people who were in there right then, and that's what caused the studio to shut down. And then it sat there. I don't know, anyone who drove by it for those years, just, you know, it sat there with a for sale sign on it for almost 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And then David and I bought it in 2002. So, yeah, our weird circumstance.
What were the times
Woodland.
like? What were the times like in 2002 in Woodland Studios? I mean, East Nashville is a very different landscape today than it was then. So was it more of like a hangout vibe in that studio? It's right near Five Points, to give folks who are listening a landmark location, but it's such a fascinating studio when you're going through and seeing the changes of East Nashville, but seeing Woodland Studios still intact the way it is.
Well, it's hard to imagine now, but anyone who's, you know, been around since back in those days, East Nashville was kind of a ghost town. You know, the person on the front lines there with bringing in, I don't know, commerce and nightlife and everything, Margot. Margot was there, but there was not much there. So no, it wasn't really a hangout. It was a hangout for the police. They used to just post up in our parking lot, and we were just fine, happy to have them there, you know. So no, the whole place has just changed a tremendous amount. And now what do we struggle with? We can sometimes hear the nightlife. We can hear the bars and the whatnot in the studio. You know, there didn't used to be any stuff like that around there. So we're going to have to deal with that. But, you know, I love having that studio right in the heart of East Nashville. It just brings home, I think, to people who are visiting and seeing the town that it is Music City. You know, still. And those records people love, they were made right there. You know, records like Will the Circle Be Unbroken and Neil Young's Comes a Time. You know, it's just, and Elvira. You know.
Well, there's opposite ends of the spectrum right there, huh?
Yeah.
Gillian Welch on our studio hotline with us this morning. The new album, the third and final installment of the Lost Songs, is out now. Hey, we've got about a minute. Before we wrap it up, I got to ask you, anytime I see Berkeley on anybody's resume, I grew up about 40 minutes from Boston in Providence, Rhode Island. What was the Boston? You talk about being in the heart of East Nashville. Well, at Berkeley, you're truly in the heart of Boston, Massachusetts. Maybe a half mile at most from Fenway Park. Am I right? I mean, pretty close.
Yeah.
So what was the Boston?
I lived right in between there, and boy, did I learn to walk tough. You know?
Please tell me you went to a few Red Sox games, though, right? Since you were so close.
Oh, I surely did.
Okay.
Berkeley was great. They used to get these student tickets, and they'd take us all up there, sit on the Green Monster, and cherished memories.
All right. Well, it's great to visit with you, and check out the Lost Songs. It's all the information available at Gillian's website. It's simply GillianWelch.com. We're going to feature Strange Isabella on 650 AM WSM and Circle Television. Gillian, a pleasure. Have a good one.
Morning. Nice talking to you.
Strange Isabella, never had a coat to wear. Strange Isabella.
Thanks for listening to our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Our program director at WSM Radio is J. Patrick Tittle. Our digital producer is Haley Hall. Marketing and promotions director is Amanda Cannon. And I'm Charlie Matos. If you like what you've heard, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review on iTunes. It really does help new people find the show.